All right, family, what up? I was just reflecting and I wanted to come up here and to drop a quick reflections video based off of some thoughts that I just recently had. Haven't done this in a long time, but I think it's an appropriate time to be able to do so. I did a stream last night, and in the middle of this stream, it was a Pop the Balloon stream, I shouted out a friend of mine, a friend to the channel, the lead attorney. If you're unfamiliar with the lead attorney, he is a 20-year divorce lawyer who retired and became a full-time YouTuber. Well, he was recently diagnosed with cancer, a very serious type of cancer. He's been fighting his cancer in secrecy while maintaining grace through a difficult prognosis. And I've talked to him about this and I've kept it close to the hip for some time now. And I am immensely proud at him coming out and speaking about this, because just as I had gone through within my own cancer journey back in 2021, him talking about this will inevitably save lives. If you're a type of man that never goes and gets checked out at the doctor, you're scared about what they might say, it would behoove you to do so because you might catch something early. Also, within this state of reflection, I was thinking through the recent happenings within the past couple of years of my life in the consideration of life. What is it that I mean by that? When I think about, again, my own cancer diagnosis, when I think about my father suddenly passing away after a 6-month battle with cancer, when I think about the sudden death of Kevin Samuels 2 years ago, and someone who had also had been a cancer survivor, as well as other people who have suddenly passed away that we know about because they are mainstream figures. Notably, recently, Dikembe Mutombo passed away due to brain cancer. Here's the thing, and I want to be able to stress this the best way that I can. Life is very finite. And it's something that you don't consider that much when you're young or within your 20s. But the fact of the matter is that you don't know how long this roller coaster of life will be. So within that, what are the lessons that you can extract out of that before your time is up? Because it's very important to do so. The number one thing that you guys should be focusing on is how to be as joyous and as happy as what you ultimately can be throughout the totality of your life. Now, the action, or the result rather, of happiness and or joy is not something that is taught within schools, which is so crazy to me, because I think that if you have a much more satisfied population in how to do that, how to achieve that, then you'd get a lot better outcomes when it comes to things such as self-deletion, when it comes to alcohol abuse, when it comes to drug abuse, when it just comes to different abuse and unhappiness in general. But schooling aside, because maybe let's say we don't put that on our education system, right? Forgo the happiness of the joy training, forgo the financial knowledge and education, forgo the relationship knowledge and education. And those three things alone, if you put them into some type of curriculum, I think, again, we'd do a lot better. But let's say that all of those things have to be taught at home. The issue with that is that depending upon the family that you grew up in, you're going to get varying amounts and degrees of all of this, because again, there's not standardized knowledge. So then if it's not taught into the home, then where else do you go? Mentors, books, different resources that you can cull through to understand what it is for yourself. I am privileged in having, throughout the entirety of my childhood, a strong damn father who taught me about happiness, who taught me about financial education, and who also taught me about relationships. But again, I know that there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of men out there that start at varying degrees of this understanding. But focusing back on happiness and joy in one's life, I'll give you guys my quick rubric of what do I do or what do I think about to achieve happiness, and true joy within my life, outside of an understanding of the finiteness of our life and the reality of our mortality. The fact that we are essentially water balloons filled with blood. What are the things that you can focus on? In no particular order, the first one that you have to have established within your life is purpose. You need a reason to be, a reason to go forward, a reason to maintain. I've done countless calls with young men who are asking me for advice of how it is to achieve that. And I can give you resource after resource after resource, but identification of your purpose, I think, is one of the hardest things to do, especially in an information age today. And I say information, but it's more so like an entertainment age today, where we get so much shit marketed to us and thrown at us about, oh, buy this fancy new car, this shiny new ring, and you'll feel good and better about yourself. All of that shit is bogus. It's a fucking lie. Being attached to material goods and objects or whatever the brands tell you that will make you happy is the quickest way towards hating yourself. So you have to understand internally what makes you cook. What makes you bake? And it has to be rooted in some degree of reality. I've spoken about this in the past. What I've always considered within my life is that my goal, my purpose was to always be a better version than my father. I came up to a conundrum of what to do after he passed. Now, personally, I decided, and what's funny about this is that this was my post red pill rage epiphany in my very early 20s, getting out this relationship, and I felt lost, confused, and just did not understand the world. So I had two anchors at that time. My anchor was to be the absolute best man that I can be. I want to be the smartest, the most educated, and being the best to me was anchored in an understanding of just be better than my father, which in my particular case is a tough act to follow. But on this quest of life, you must understand your purpose in your quest of joy and happiness in this short life. And here's the thing, your purpose can shift over time. Personally, I've struggled since my father has passed in identifying, well, is this still my purpose now that I can't demonstrate my wins or successes in real time to my father? So my anchor has had to shift. The lead attorney, one of his major purposes in life is YouTube. He absolutely loves to get up on here and just talk to y'all in live stream format. That's his passion, and he enjoys it so much, and he's damn good at it. But if he never took the leap of faith or the risk to try something new, to get uncomfortable, get out of his comfort zone, he would have never discovered this platform. But that's what it took for him to understand his purpose in life, at least currently. Now, the next key that I wanted to talk about is balance within one's life. And, every year at the top of the year, I write what I refer to as my manifesto, and I document themes for the year. One of my biggest themes for this year was balance, because I found that on my quest towards becoming a successful YouTuber and transitioning from corporate America to doing this full time, and I've been doing it full time for 3 years now, and I wanted to be the best at doing it. And the best oftentimes will require a lot of time. And I began to lose sight of balance within my life. I was most so focused in the grind set culture, which, by the way, I think is immensely important in your 20s. Immensely, especially for men, especially to learn it early, to figure it out soon, because the quicker that you figure it out, the quicker that you set yourself up for life success. And after you identify success, then you can lay off the brake to a degree and begin to coast into a much more balanced life. I had to rethink through this balance within my life because I have achieved what a lot of people consider considerable success just by looking at me publicly on this platform. But I began to realize that because due to my lack of balance within life, it was actually leaving me a lot less happy in life than when I worked that 9-to-5 corporate America job. And it was a weird understanding because being a modern man, you get the information about grind set. You get the information about, entrepreneurship is more cool than 9-to-5. You get the information that if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably gonna make a lot more money than 9-to-5. So all of these things had been achieved, but my life happiness wasn't better. And the reason for that, and I'm still working through it right now, is because I did not understand the concept of balance. So I found myself in this odd ass conundrum of having the outward perception of success, but I've had to realize that money, analytics, achievements, validation doesn't necessarily mean happiness or success, especially if you don't have a degree of balance. So what are my balance shifters that I've instituted within my life today? Flat out, it's community. I've had to push away a lot of my friends in order to enact this grind set culture to make this work, but started bringing them back in. So community, family time, relationships, maintaining them and building on them. Here's a pro tip. When you go through hard times in life, these are the people that you can rely on. I know, crazy, right? Anyway, I've been up here rambling for a good degree of time, but I do think that these discussions regarding happiness, especially happiness as it revolves around men, need to happen a lot more actively, a lot more frequently, because within the West, within culture, men often get the short end of the stick. You know, women and children first. There are less support groups and or systems for men, but there's a lot of dudes out there that are going to hell through it. And I absolutely 100% understand what exactly it is that you guys are going through. And I feel for y'all on your quest to understanding what this life is about. But that's what I've been focusing on lately. Identifying and anchoring my purpose and building balance within my life. Now, depending upon the stage of life that you are at, you might just be on the figuring out your purpose stage. Bump the balance stage. That's fine. But as a man myself, I've had to figure out what is true joy and or happiness within our life, because if I reach the end of this bitch and I am not wholly satisfied, then it was not a successful life. And that's a scary thing to think, especially when you don't know your end date. Shout out again to all my G's out there. And last but not least, if you guys want to join my male self-development community, there's a link to it down in the description box down below. Go down there, beam up. These are the type of conversations that we have up there. Come through and I will see you soon. Add your comments down below. What do you guys think about the things that I have been saying? Do you have your own story? How else do you identify joy and or purpose within your life? Write them down below. Let's have a conversation about it, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, YouTube, peace.